Mike, when's the book out and what's it like being famous these days?
Well, so the book is probably not going to be until late 2025. There's so much that goes into it. I really want this to be something that lasts generations rather than months or years. I'm creating it to be a sort of timeless, almost biblical account of the origins of all of this and who the main players were and all the, I want a lot of this is video driven because of all of the, so much of this was done, live. So there's a whole complex bibliography and archiving system to be able to, create a companion to it all to bring it to life. So that is very much a work in progress. Before I get to the sort of, I don't really feel to me, I'm the same, as I was 8 years ago. I can't forget where I came from in this because I feel like pursuing this, really kind of took everything from me on a personal level. I almost don't. I went through, a lot of the costs probably from a different angle, that you talk about in being deplatformed. I've seen so many of my friends swallowed up or indicted by the Justice Department on BS. And I have no doubt that that's, going to happen to me at some point. And so I don't relish, the moment that way. I see myself as a vehicle for a message, and I'm going to keep, singing that song as long as there's a microphone in front of me. And, but I do want to say what you said about censorship works. That is very much a mantra of the censorship industry. Deplatforming works. But I will say one other thing, which is really fascinating about this, is you are definitely correct that they did not want people to notice it. And even though deplatforming works, the backlash against it, because people understand the censorship, is something that millions of dollars went into trying to stop in the first place. And I'll give you one great example of this. In 2019, when the first real big scalp started to be taken on censorship, in late 2018, Alex Jones was taken off of YouTube, for example. And whatever your opinions on Alex Jones are, the fact is at the empirical level, the stats don't lie. Alex Jones's YouTube account had more views than all of CNN's. So CNN was a network that had been around since, the 1980s. And, they had less views than the 2 billion than one person, Alex Jones. And so when he was taken off in late 2018 and a bunch of others, high profile accounts were, this backlash, first started. And DARPA, I'm not even joking, DARPA started to pour money. The U.S. Pentagon, the Department of War, renamed the Department of Defense in 1948, our military establishment started funding research science on how to stop the so-called martyr effect of martyred individuals who were censored on social media. And some of these DARPA studies, and again, because I had to go through all this for the research in my book to look at all the military origins in the media censorship space. And these DARPA proposals, some of these were amazing. It was like 4 different techniques for how to censor without creating the martyr effect. So, and this is in 2019. And so you had the classical top down, but then you had bottom up. Well, what happens to perceptions of censorship if we don't censor the number one person, but we censor their lieutenant class? If we network map the person that we're trying to censor and we say, okay, well, it's London Real that we want to take out, but London Real really gets its amplification because there are 4 or 5 accounts. They might have 2 million followers, but there are 4 or 5 different, people who've got 500,000 followers underneath them. If we keep London Real, but we take out those lieutenants, people don't think London Real is being censored, but now London Real has lost hundreds of millions of impressions. Okay, well, what happens if we only do a couple of lieutenants and now we target the much larger, they refer to it as a sort of megaphone, a funnel, where something starts with one content creator and then it filters out to a lieutenant class and then it expands into the larger sort of unwashed masses. Well, what if we network map the misinformation community of, say, COVID, vaccine critics? And so we've got the number 1, the number 2, and then we've got this, sort of wider funnel. What if we leave the number 1 and the number 2 class, but we do a random partial 30% reduction. We basically censor all these tiny accounts who've only got a couple hundreds or a couple thousands of followers. Then that will greatly reduce the message, and no one can say that censorship is happening in the vaccine space there, because why does this person still have their account? Not knowing that the frigging military itself has come up with a plan to reduce that message, because it's the smaller accounts and they're leaving the figurehead in place, but they're effectively neutering that one by design to kill the martyr effect so that you don't see the censorship that's being put in place. And the math that goes into this is extraordinary, by the way, in order to have the computer scientists translate that, right, into an actual algorithm.
That's wild. Not to mention the self-censorship that will be imposed on the number ones and twos. When they see some of the smaller players getting taken out, they'll start thinking twice about what they're going to say. I guess
advertisers, the government was working with the advertisers to kill the ad revenue. It's so dirty, but maybe a story for another day.
I never even said it was actually the BBC that actually blew the whistle on us and kind of pressured YouTube to take us down that day. And you can go really down the rabbit hole on that one.
They're the fourth quadrant in the whole of society.
Exactly.
They work with the government.
Exactly. Look, I really appreciate everything you're putting out there, Mike. This is really, again, revelatory stuff in a world that's seen a lot of, our eyes have been opened a lot in the last couple of years, but your stuff is fascinating. So I'm looking forward to the book. I'm glad you're going to spend time on it. And please keep putting these ideas out there. For me, it really helps me understand everything that happened. Still makes me upset about it. And we're going to keep going here regardless. So again, we're going to keep broadcasting. We are still broadcasting, and they can try to ban us. They can take us down, but we're just not going to stop. And again, you never know what's going to happen. And again, sometimes they can't silence you. Sometimes when they silence you, it blows up in other ways. Our film is now doing extremely well, and we're using that as a weapon. We are using our deplatforming, and we're actually weaponizing that to go push it back into their faces. And again, look at what Elon did. Look at Elon putting Alex Jones back. There are some real rays of hope out there, and a lot of people are waking up. So I'm super optimistic. Thanks for doing what you do. It's Mike Benz Cyber on Twitter, right?
Yep, all one word. And I'm hyperactive there. You can find me there every day.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that It is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I'm just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you gotta pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.